Hello, thank you for checking out Mr. Ware's videos. And today we're looking at simplifying expressions with distribution. So let's begin. Okay, here it says to rewrite in simplest terms. What we're going to do here is do the distributive property and then collect like terms. Okay, so let's take a look. All right, first I'm going to distribute. I'm going to have a negative times a negative, which is a positive, and an 8 times 5, which is 40. D. Then I'm going to go ahead and continue to distribute. Negative times a positive, which is a negative, and 8 times 2, which is 16. Notice how I don't distribute to the negative 10 because it's not inside the parentheses. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms. So I've got the 40D, which is a like term with the negative 10D, and then I've got the long constant, negative 16. Okay, since the 40 is positive and the 10 is negative, they're different signs find the difference, which means to subtract. So 40 minus 10 is 30. D. And we leave it positive because the 40 is bigger. And then I bring down this negative 16. Okay, go ahead and take a look at this next problem and see if you can solve it. Okay, so you should get a negative 6c plus 8. Oh, too big. There we go. All right, so I distribute the negative. Okay, got negative 3c, positive 8. Then I brought down the negative 3c, found my like terms, negative 3c and negative 3c. Combine those, same sign, find the sum. So 3 plus 3 is 6. And then leave it negative because they're both negative. All right. And that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at another example. All right. So on this one, we're going to go ahead and do the distributed property and then combine like terms. But notice inside the parentheses, you've got a negative 7h and a negative 1h. Okay. Those are like terms already. So let's go ahead and combine those right away. All right. And I'm going to underline them just to make a point that they're like terms. So we're going to add them together. So it's negative and negative. The same sign find the sum. So when we add those two, we get a negative 8h. And I'm going to leave everything else in the parentheses, the plus 4, and write everything outside that was already outside. All right, now I'm going to distribute this negative 7 to get rid of the parentheses. So negative times a negative is a positive, and 7 times 8 is 56. Okay, and negative 7 times a positive 4 is going to be a negative 28. Bring down the negative 8h. Oh, this should have an H on it. Let me fix that. All right, now I'm going to combine my like terms here. Okay, I've got 56h and a negative 8h. Okay, they're different signs, so I find the difference between the two, and I get 48h, and it's positive, minus 28. All right, go ahead and take a look at this next problem and see if you can solve that one. You can pause the video here. All right, what you should get is negative 52a plus 56. Okay, I took the 7, I distribute. Well, actually, before I distribute, I combine the negative 9a and the positive 2a to get me negative 7a. Different signs, find the difference. And then brought down that 8 inside the parentheses, the 7 on the outside, and the negative 3a on the outside. Then I distribute the 7. Positive times a positive is a negative. Positive times a positive is a positive. 7 times 8 is 56, and 7 times 7 is 49. And then I combine these like terms, this negative 49a and this negative 3a, same sign, find the sum, add them. So I got negative 52a plus 56. All right, let's take a look at these last two problems here. All right, these look kind of big, but it's 100% doable, okay? So we'll take a look at each one of these. All right, so I'm gonna zoom in. And I can see there's no like terms to combine inside the parentheses. In fact, we got two variables on these. So we'll take a look and work them out step by step. So the first thing I'm going to do is distribute. I'm going to distribute this 3. And I'm going to distribute this 6. Negative 6, that is. So I've got positive times a negative, which is a negative. 3c. Positive times a negative is a negative. And then 3 times 8 is 24. D. I'm going to go ahead and bring down this minus 10d. And then distribute this negative 6. Negative times a positive is a negative. And 9 times 6 is 54. D. Then negative times a negative is a positive. And then 6 times 10 will be 60. C. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and identify my like terms here. So I'm going to underline the ones with C here. So I got negative 3c and negative 60c. And then I got a negative 24d, a negative 10d, and a negative 54d. Okay. And to simplify these things, I'm just going to reorder these around. I'm going to move this 60c over here and then slide all these down so it's all in order here. So we got negative 3c. I'm just reordering, putting right beside the positive 60c. And writing out negative 24d, negative 10d, and negative 54d. Same order, really. Just move that 60 in front. Now you've got the C's right by each other and the D's right by each other. And we're just going to add them together. All right, so we got negative 3c plus 60c. Different signs, find the difference. So you got 57c. And the 60 is bigger, so you leave it positive. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the negative 24 and the negative 10. Just these two right here. Yeah, I meant to use the other. But those two right there. So negative and negative, same sign, find the sum. So we add them together and we get negative 24, I'm sorry, negative 34 D. And bringing down this negative 54D. So we're done with the C's, but we still got one more pair of D's to add. So we're going to add those, and it's still the same sign, find the sum. So I got a positive 57C, and adding these, we're going to add them and leave it negative. So that's going to be 88D. And that's the final answer. Okay, go ahead and pause the video here and see if you can solve this one. All right, so here we go. You should get negative 86D plus 43F. Okay, so first you distribute, and I didn't put it on all of this, but we're going to distribute the negative 2 and the negative 10, and we get this right here. Okay, then I collected or identified my like terms with the 16D and the 70D and circle all the F's. Then I rearranged them by placing this negative 70D in front here of the 20, a negative 20F, negative 7F plus positive 70F, and just put those right here. So now I'm going to add these and then add these. First, I went ahead and added the 16D minus 70D and got negative 86D. And then I added the negative 20F and the negative 7F, same sign, find the sum. Add those together. And then it brought down this positive 70F. So all my D's are good, but now I gotta take a look at the F's. So now I got negative 27F and positive 70F, different signs, find the difference. So I subtract. 70 minus 27 is 43, and I leave it positive because the 70 is bigger. Okay, that is it. That is simplifying expressions with distribution. I want to thank you for checking out Mr. Ware's videos. Have a nice day.